my podcast people. This is estate planning and asset protection attorney Leslie Marenco bringing you another episode of Having Fun with Death and Taxes. Today I am joined by Cristina Ortiz, or as I call her, you'll hear me call her Ortiz. Please introduce yourself.
Marenco, yes, Cristina Ortiz. I do real estate law and bankruptcy law. We've known each other for many years.
Apparently,
we were just discussing
2015.
Yes.
This is kind of a unique episode. You are the first person we have on here we're not just going to be talking about an estate, but more about what we deal with, because there are so many real estate issues inside of trusts and estates. And I sometimes say, because you know how you guys have like the fund or whatever, I guess it's more fund or public, whoever it is that's underwriting, right?
Yeah.
And they run title for you and they show you all this, shit show and what they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover. Well, we don't have the benefit of that. We have nobody helping us out over here.
Okay.
So we are probably one of the last idiots, I say, that have to go back and actually hand check title.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. So we see crazy thing. We're like, ¿qué es esto?
So I'm so honored. I'm the first non-estate planning attorney on here.
Yes.
All right, we got to cheers to that.
You are. Oh.
Special occasion. All right.
One of the only estates I could find that has real estate related, crazy shit show directly tied to the real estate. Was Lisa Marie Presley. Mm-hmm. So she inherited all this money from daddy. Really, from what I see, she didn't make a lot of her own money. But daddy's estate was a freaking mess when she inherited it. When she was only 9, and she wasn't gonna get it till she was 25. So his will said everything's my daughter. There were some other people, but they all died too. So pretty much she became the only beneficiary. Everything's my daughter at 25. From the time she was 9 to the time she was 25, Priscilla rocked and rolled. Made a shit ton of money for the estate. Good job, Priscilla. I guess she's still alive, right? Yes, Priscilla Presley.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we have to fact check that. Maybe.
But good job, because from what you see, she made a lot of money for the estate. She administered it very well. 25, Lisa Marie gets it. Fast forward many years, because she died in 2023 at the age of 54. Now, she has a bunch of kids and what have you. And what we're going to be talking about is what happens after that, because there's so many things you could talk about, even in the Lisa Marie estate.
Yeah.
But she dies. Her oldest daughter takes over as trustee. And all of a sudden, there is a foreclosure of Graceland, which is one of the biggest assets that entire estate has. It is like an amusement park. It's historical. It get money from it. There's royalties. It's a money-making machine.
That's so interesting, because Graceland, was it being used as someone's primary residence?
I believe it was like that.
Now it's a museum or something, right?
It was like Elvis's whatever, but since then,
so it's considered a commercial.
It's definite
property.
Commercial use, museum, amusement park. It definitely has a lot of commercial money spewing off of it and what have you, and I'm sure itself worth quite a bit of money. And so all of a sudden, this crazy, the name is just amazing, Nuasani Investments and Private Lending LLC decides immediately, almost after she passes away, because she passed away in 2023, and in 2024 they immediately file in 2023 they actually immediately file a foreclosure on Graceland.
Okay.
They come up with fantastic loan documents.
A note, a mortgage. No, a deed already signed. So if they defaulted on the note and the mortgage, that nothing else needed to happen. They were just going to record a new deed. Okay.
Right? And what's crazy is Graceland's in Tennessee. Lisa Marie Estate, some other state, like California, right?
And where was this lender, this supposed lender?
In another place, but actually gets tied to Nigerian prince. And I always joke about the Nigerian prince.
They're real.
Pero this was actually Nigerian fraudsters. And I'm like, oh my God, they live.
Yes.
They're
absolutely.
real.
And they're very smart.
Because they're I always haha, the Nigerian prince. No. These people are legit linked to a forgery scam that has been going on for decades.
Okay.
And the guys are from Nigeria, which I'm like, it's real.
So this note and mortgage is fraudulent, forgery.
So note and mortgage is fraudulent. There's a Florida notary. I was like, bro, if that's not the most common thing ever.
Yes, Florida notaries.
The Florida notary is notarizing supposedly in Florida for a document that's going to encumber the Tennessee property. ¿Qué? Why?
So whose signature was forged?
Lisa Marie. So this loan.
So Lisa Marie had to be in Florida. Or something, right? Exactly.
In 2018, and they lent her $3.8 million, of which Graceland was collateral. That is the story. So when in 2022, apparently it's a 4-year note and mortgage. 4-year note, very interesting. Okay, only 4 years.
That's not conventional.
I mean, no, right? Specifically 4 years. And when she didn't pay,
They said they sent letters, they sent whatever, all of their shit was ignored. Of course, everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? There were no letters, what are you talking whatever. And then she dies. And as soon as she dies, they immediately begin foreclosure proceedings. Yes. And so, which is totally wild. The notary, of course, the first person probably deposed, right? Like, where are these witnesses? Where is this notary?
Absolutely.
Notary's in Florida. Notary immediately goes, I don't know how my signature is on this page, but that is not me. I never met Lisa Marie.
Really?
I don't know what's going on here. How did they get my name? You know, like Kimberly, somebody or another, immediately signed an affidavit saying, yo no sé nada de esto. Keep my name out of your mouth. You know, kind of like, nope, no thank you. But everybody, of course, sued each other. The estate by Riley, who is trustee, the daughter, for fraud against these people. These people trying to now say, no, we have a legitimate claim. We have a legitimate whatever. And they recorded the deed, a lo descarado, like, this is now ours, right? Yeah, sure. And I was like, this all did not happen in Florida.
Over
like,
$3.8 million, Graceland really is going to secure $3.8 million.
Right, a measly little 3.8.
Yeah, so a
like,
deed's going to be recorded.
In Coconut
Give me a break.
Right now.
Exactly.
Like all of Graceland is securing this $3.8 million. And so fast forward, and actually, because maybe if we would have done this podcast a couple of years ago, we wouldn't know. But yeah, some lady's been arrested for fabricating.
She just got sentenced. She just got sentenced to a couple of years already.
There you go. Yeah. Like, the fraud is like discovered.
Yes.
Right? Bro. Really, like my old boss really did used to say, like, it's hard to commit fraud well. Like, it's not hard to commit fraud. So this is the capital fraud, but it's hard to commit fraud.
We are the capital of fraud. Like, Florida, South Florida, we're ground zero for all of this stuff. In fact, as a real estate attorney, and since I am a member of like the Old Republic title firm, what happens is that we have to do trainings and then continue legal education. All of the examples of like shit that can go wrong is in Miami or South Florida. There was a lot of fraud happening in like the Central Florida area. And they were targeting viejitos, people who kids are running the parents' properties and lots and these vacant lots.
I heard now if a deed is recorded, they send a letter to your house or something?
Yes, they do. They do. And then, of course, the clients get scared thinking that something happened. They call me, the title agent, like, we got this letter. So a lot of it is a solicitation, too. Like, now companies have gotten privy to this thing, and like it looks very official. It looks like it's from the county, and they were like, "We got the deed, but we're not going to record it if you don't send us $100, something like that." And like
buchito,
correct,
they get all the money.
Absolutely, and even if it's like an error,
and nobody's gonna come after them for $100.
Exactly. So they're doing shit like that. But the counties here in Florida are getting like extra, like they scrutinize everything. So I just find it funny that the Graceland deed can be recorded, and the clerk is like, "Yeah, we'll record it
problem.
as an or book and page or something." Like, that's very surprising.
But you know, you're absolutely right. I've noticed that in the last couple of years. I used to tell clients, like, and
because you have to do deeds too, right?
We do deeds all the time to transfer them into trust or to do whatever, right? And of course, then everything's fucked up. It goes to the probate department to figure this out, or they do a quiet settle or whatever it is. But I used to tell clients, and especially as like, I was not an attorney. My first career was not as an attorney, right? So you believe, as a civilian, I call all non-attorneys civilians on this podcast.
Lay people.
As a civilian, yes, lay people. That's right, lay people. You know, you think that all of this has so much like oversight, and like you almost believe that like the county is running title for you. Like if you send a deed, somebody was checking whatever. And I used to tell people when like you used to see like the shit show, like, and they used to be like, but it was recorded. Yeah, mi amor, that does not matter. Like,
Defective.
The title is not there. Like, the $15 an hour, whatever minimum wage is, I'm not sure, does not, like, run title for you.
No.
Like, they go, like, witness, notary, signature. And before, they didn't even do that shit. Like, they would fucking record whatever the fuck.
So there is a little over scrutiny right now, but you're right. It's not like someone who's actually checking title. They are looking at the deed and inventing defects, in my opinion. They're like, oh, well, this should have been stamped, and this should have been here. And I'm like, oh, God, I had to do a corrective deed.
Right, the stamp was on the wrong side.
Right, like, they invent stuff all the time. But I will say that you're absolutely right, because just recording something doesn't make it valid. I'm doing a closing right now.
That is what you should learn from this podcast today.
Just because it's recorded doesn't mean it's valid.
Does not mean it's valid.
Because I just got a title commitment. This person bought the house, only 3 years ago, and that deed is defective. Now I have to go back to the freaking title company that did that deed, find those sellers, get the sellers to re-sign a deed so that now this guy gets clean title. Right. 3 or 4 years later.
Right.
Who knows? Those grand tours, those sellers Are they still alive? Are they still here? Did they move? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's complicated. So it was recorded, but it was a defective deed. It was. The notary, so talk about notary law, and like, it's so easy to be a notary here. It's like $80, you know?
This is not a notario of your country, guys.
Of Italy or, you know, when I did study abroad in FIU law, we were talking about it, I did a study abroad, and you go to law school to be a notary. In Italy and Spain.
Right.
Not like their servicio, like notarial services.
No, notario is not someone here that checks a signature. Like in your country, it's like real.
Right. So
it's like you had training.
The notary language, the notary block language is wrong. It's not even like a proper statement or whatever. But it was recorded, and the guy's the owner. The property appraiser shows the guy's the owner, but title, it's defective.
That's the other thing. The property appraisal does not determine whether you are an actual owner. Like,
that happens all the time, huh? With you guys?
All the time. All the time.
So, power of attorneys for real estate in Florida actually needs to look like a deed. What do I say? The requirements. So, you need the 2 witnesses, a notary. It's very specific. The real estate legal description has to be in it. There are requirements, okay? And people are doing power of attorneys, like literally firmando un papel, like you're saying, like general ones for real estate. And I had a closing, and the seller had done his own power of attorney to like an adult, but a very young, you know, and it's sensitive because you don't want to stereotype, but when things look weird, you have to follow your instinct, okay? So like an older gentleman does this general power of attorney where like this young 19-year-old kid, you know,
is the
agent and is like now in power of like all his real estate, all of his bank accounts, and I was suspicious. I'm sorry. So I remember, yes. So apparently what had happened was, and I don't remember the gentleman at your firm that I was speaking with, like you guys had consultations or something about this power of attorney, and perhaps had drafted one, but it was never like approved or finalized. Well, the guy took that draft did it on his own and did whatever with it. And that's the power of attorney that they were sending me. And it said, you know, your office's info. And I said, no, I know Leslie. I think I texted you.
Probably.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, tell me about what's going on. Anyways, you guys didn't end up doing the power of attorney. Like, it wasn't finalized. It wasn't finalized.
That, like,
it's not your
fault. Have we been paid for this power of attorney?
No, it was like a draft or something, and he used it. And then I talked to one of your associates, and he was like, this is what happened. We never heard back from them. And anyways, it was an invalid power of attorney. It did not meet the Florida requirements of conveying real estate. And that's what we were trying to close, and I was representing the seller. And the guy happened to be in prison. You don't remember this?
What?
Yeah, so the seller ended up being in prison. So I had to go, not me, the real estate, because he wasn't paying me that much. I was like, I am not going to the jail in Central Florida to meet with him to do the deeds and stuff. So the real estate agent went, and we did it in the prison, in the jail. But basically, he was trying to say,
crazy.
the POA, we have a POA. And I'm like, I need to see the freaking power of attorney. I need to see it, and then I have to submit it to my underwriter to get approval.
Of course.
Okay? And that's what had happened. So even that is like silly, right? Like you never know.
People think they're so slick. People around here think they're so slick. Yeah. I mean, diseased.
The probate court is special. When I first went off on my own, I took on a probate case. Not that I didn't know what I was doing and I was negligent or whatever. It's just I took it on because it did seem simple. Why am I bringing this up? Because actually this has happened to me where, yes, I'm a lawyer. I'm doing someone's closing. I'm preparing the closing documents, and then they're like, "But we don't understand. We hired you. You're, go go.
Oh yeah,
deal with
go to
it.
probate and fix my
shit."
And
I'm like, I understand, and I don't mean to I'm not playing hot potato. But probate is very particular, and you want someone who knows what they're doing, so it could be quicker. I'm not gonna fumble, the football, and now we're 3 months, 6 months, and you need to hire someone separate that specializes in that, because you guys do know the judges, you know the system. It's completely different.
Every judge has their own little quirks of how they
want
things.
No. So that's happened to me too. That unfortunately, clients or realtors have gotten like, "Well, you're an attorney. That's why we use an attorney for title." And I'm like, I understand, but I'm an attorney that does real estate and title. That's my lane, that's what I got. But a probate and estate planning situation, you need to use an expert like you guys. So.
Yeah. I mean, and so it is kind of quirky because sometimes, we'll see this shit show, and that's what I mean. Mr. Albert over here, it was just easier for us to, reopen the estate and, solve this problem through there and get it sold and distribute everybody's money. And we were lucky that they were willing to,
Yeah, nobody wants the fucking property, right? She wanted to sell. The kids from the actual kids of Albert were like, we have a property?
Yeah.
And I was like, kids, yep, it's Christmas. Like, what can I tell you?
So what's the sad one that you're going to show me?
No. This one is a hot mess. And this one, when I explained this to the realtor, so it was actually sent to me and I felt bad for him because I'm sure that realtor lo mandó para la mierda, right? Like by a real estate attorney who is like, Leslie, I don't even know what, like, I guess underwriting counsel was just like, bro, no.
Yes,
like,
it happens.
The answer is no,
that
right?
Happens.
Like we're not dealing with it, whatever. And then they told him there's a probate issue here, there's a whatever, there's dead people, like somebody needs to figure this out. It ain't gonna be us. Vaya con Dios. Goodbye, right?
It's one of the most insensitive questions, but you know that when I get a file now, I learned my lesson because
¿Alguien murió?
I'm like, did someone die? And they're like, oh, you know what realtors do? And I don't mean to criticize anyone, but I've done videos on this. So a realtor will take on a listing. And like they're dealing with the adult children of the person that passed away, and the person on title, they just assign it, and they don't realize like you can't just put the estate of the dead person, and now it's like an entity. That's a court ordered like
Right.
Realtors have done that, and you see in the contract the estate of Robert Garcia, whatever.
Okay, they want to get in early.
And I'm like, that doesn't exist.
They want to start working immediately.
Robert Garcia's on the appraisal. He died. On the appraiser's office, he died. You can't just slap on the estate of Robert because he died.
Right.
That's not,
that's their like,
so
their shortcut.
One of the first things I always ask, like, did somebody die? Has someone died? Either wife, husband, or they're diseased, whatever.
Or not. Yeah.
So realtor.
God help us. God help us for this one. Okay, let's just call him Albert again because vamos a seguir con los Alberts. His name is not Albert. Albert was legitimately married. Okay. Albert dies in 1988, actually, of bad cancer. So the probate, the first deed that you see, is actually a PR's deed. Brother signs, Albert's brother.
Is Albert's brother the PR?
No, ma'am. 2, let's call her La Claudia. This is clearly the mistress, bro. Like, nobody wants to come clean, but it's pretty obvious to me.
See, this is a novela. I like this.
Here, okay? 2, Miss Claudia. Claudia's dead. That's why I'm naming her. No. So there's a deed, a PR deed, for God's sakes, to La Claudia. Lovely. Claudia lives on the property. No problem. The first thing you see in the docket when you look at Albert's estate is that like a year later, wife is PR. Okay? Brother was never appointed PR. Like, ever. Like, I don't know where the fuck that came from. All right.
So this deed, the PR's deed that El Hermano firmó is from 1988. Who prepared that deed?
Brother, it looks like. Brother was an attorney. Brother was an attorney. Dorla.
This is the 80s.
And
this
brother,
is so
truly, I think
attorney behavior.
For what I could gather, brother was trying to save wife from knowing about the mistress. And brother knew that Al wanted his
mistress to have it
over here to have the property, right? Yeah. She was living on the property.
Claudia was 20.
Claro, obvio. Like, no more than 25, guys. No more than 20. This would not be a Miami story if she was over 25 years old. So, like, brother was like, oh, shit. I'm sure brother se cagó. Was like, fuck. If wife finds out about it, who I'm sure he spends every Easter, Nochebuena, blah, 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 with wife. If wife finds out about this, lo que se va a formar aquí is going to be tremendo problema. Let me transfer the property to La Claudia, and Claudia can continue living on, because Claudia cannot be discovered and booted the fuck out.
Yeah, because if she's homeless, she's gonna start yelling.
Something's gonna
making noise.
Right? So brother, I'm sure with the best intentions, transfers the property, except that brother is not PR. Not then, not ever. Okay? But okay. All right. Claudia.
Is the brother still alive at this point?
Yes, brother talks in riddles. He might be
and
because
he's older.
Old. It might be because he's old.
Is he even practicing? Is he even practicing?
No.
Because he would be disbarred.
No.
By the way.
She's like, by the way, we got a Florida bar problem. Like, by the way, brother's very confused about why this is an issue. But I'm telling you, brother's old. Brother's a little bit old, and I was really like,
can you imagine?
A few marbles
can you imagine being lawyers in the 80s here?
No, this is
we would be killing it. We would have represented
all
the narcos. We would have represented all of the narcos.
Niña.
We would have been in the banks in Brickell, okay, building Brickell for real. That's why a lot of attorneys got disbarred.
We missed it by 40 years.
Hey, I was born in 83.
Okay, so seguimos con Claudia.
Yeah.
Okay, Claudia has a daughter. So daughter inherits property after Claudia dies. No problem, because Claudia didn't last that much longer. Claudia Jr., whatever her name is, inherits the property. ¿Qué pasa? This is during 2005, 6, and Claudia Jr. decides she's going to be a real estate mogul. So she takes all the money out of the property, all the equity out of the property to buy a shit ton of other little properties. Right?
And did not have to show income to do that.
Leveraged up the wazoo.
What happens in 08?
Right? And 2008,
when I graduated from law school.
It gets fucked, people. Totally fucked, right? So all of a sudden, La Claudia is in foreclosure. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, foreclosure. Foreclosure actually doesn't occur till 2013.
What?
2013 is when they got the order to sell the property on the courthouse.
Who's the defendant? Who are named as defendants?
Claudia.
Okay, because...
No, that's it. Like, it was just Claudia and unnamed tenants and, that bullshit.
Not to get too technical, but because the bank and the bank's attorneys who are foreclosing should have gone back...
No, that is why we have this problem, right? Because only Claudia, honestly, it was only Claudia from what we saw when we go on the foreclosure docket. It was only Claudia, unnamed tenants, unnamed whoever, blah, 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 everybody in interest, that bullshit or whatever. So this shit gets sold, the courthouse steps to client. Client now tries to sell because she's owned this since 2013.
Okay, she bought it in foreclosure.
She bought it in foreclosure. Peanuts compared to what it's owed now, right? And she tries to sell, and lo and behold, underwriter comes back and says, oh, no. Absolutely not. Client loses her mind. The realtor starts calling up real estate attorneys. Somebody fucking fix this problem. We need to sell. This is now $1 million house. Actually, way the fuck down south. I'm like, I'm sorry. When did shit like halfway to Homestead become $1 million?
Yeah, because they have a lot of land.
Wow. I was like,
they have a lot of land. You know the Redlands?
Christ.
The Redlands, that whole Homestead area. If you have a big lot and a big house, it's easily millions.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy, right? Because to me, Homestead is like where you went to buy like $100,000 property because you can't, like, no.
Or really good cinnamon rolls, but
Millions of, not these fucking cinnamon rolls.
I'll get them one day.
So she, who does speak no English, by the way, this woman speaks zero English, was like, yo no entiendo, esta mi propiedad.
That's exactly how they get.
Like,
I'm sorry,
God, they lose it.
And you're going to get fired.
Everyone is lying to them. The realtor, the real estate attorney. I came in to defend the real estate attornry, basically.
That has happened.
Like, Leslie, please explain to this woman. And I'm like,
that has happened to me where I'm like, okay, you know what? You want to fire me, fine, but this is going to be an issue, whether it's me or
anybody else.
That's what I say.
And what's crazy is, of course, real estate attorney, when he calls me, because I'm like, George, pero explícame lo que está pasando. Like, tell me what's going on here. Like, what happened? And he's like, I don't know, but we can't sell. Like, he's just like, I don't fucking know. You figure it out.
Exactly.
And I was like, so I go back through, and then I'm like, oye, Javi, pull a docket on Albero here, right? Because I'm like, now, like, I'm like backtracking. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here or whatever. And then we get a hold of now I'm paying, because I'm not chismosa, really. Mm-hmm. And we have like, I don't want to call them private, but they are private investigators, but not for that reason, right? We have skip tracers, private investigators. We're always looking for assets. We have really good relationships with them. So I was like, óyeme, encuéntrame esta gente. Like, I need the phone number, email, something for child,
but
wife,
even those
brother,
people.
alguien.
Okay, so let's talk about being an attorney. People don't realize the anxiety and the when you make those first phone calls, you know that call's not gonna go well.
Oh, it's not.
And you know that one call isn't gonna be the one call. You're probably gonna have like 7 calls, because then that person has no idea what you're talking about. They're gonna probably hang up on you. Then they're gonna talk to their family. Then the primo or whatever calls you.
Then they're gonna call everything on Google.
Then they want to unilaterally schedule a Zoom chat thing. And then you have to like explain to all these people. But then they all get their own attorneys. Because once they start seeing that maybe there's something, a claim, an asset, hasn't that happened to you?
Oh, yeah. Nobody believes you. And
so we as attorneys are ethically obligated to disclose and warn. But man, that opens Pandora's box. And then I happened to me in a closing where a guy literally had loved children all over the world. The world, not the country, the world.
He was a lover.
Norway, Africa. Swear on my life. And guess what? The realtors have never spoken to me again. Because it was my fault that the guy has 7 kids. He had 7 children all over the world. Okay? And then guess what? All those 7 children got their own attorneys because once they realize, oh, my dad, who I never met, is selling a property in Miami, and the youngest one, pobrecita, is living in a property. She was like 18, but that's the only one that had a relationship with her dad. The other ones were just offspring, but it doesn't matter. They have rights, and the guy died. And now I'm having to tell the 18-year-old, hey, you have these siblings, and those siblings got attorneys, and we got to now deal with this. And then the realtors, of course, get pissed off at me because we had to delay closing like 3 times. I have never spoken to them. They have never spoken to me again. It was not my fault.
I blocked your number.
Oh, yeah. I see them at events.
This attorney keeps telling me
I see them at events, and for sure, I know they've talked crap about me. So it sucks to be an attorney.
It does. Because what's great, and like what's happened here, and actually we have
so
not
what
been
happened?
able to fix this problem. Why? Because again, I came in to defend my friend, real estate attorney, to explain to esta mujer as a third party, right? Why? And I literally tried explaining this to her. Like that's why I know I have a diagram.
I like the diagram, though.
And, right?
Okay, so we're gonna do this for my next closing.
But I started here and went that way. I don't know why.
We're gonna do this.
Right?
We're gonna do this in a closing.
But I tried explaining to this lady who now has $1 million property that she paid like 100 G's for. Okay, not even. Okay, like not even $100,000 cash at the courthouse steps and whatever. And she kept repeating the same thing. Pero yo la compré del condado. Like the county is the government, and the government gave it to me. Therefore, my property is like the government is more important than anybody else. And I'm like, mi amor, that is not how real estate works. Like that is real estate is not like no. If somebody else has a claim to it and they're the rightful owner, they still have rights, right? But what I told her,
and you know what, Albert, Claudia Jr.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Who? Okay, client bought it in foreclosure in 2013. But she didn't get title insurance.
No, por eso está jodida.
Exactly. So
jodida.
You took a risk.
Right?
That's another thing in real estate. You take a risk. All real estate investments, even like the cleanest, whatever, is a risk. And we all have to realize that, even, all of us. Okay, now, it's even riskier, and you're an investor, and you're a mogul, and you think you're a flipper, you think you're a flipper and all this stuff. Okay, when you're buying an auction or on the courthouse steps, how it used to be and all of that, there's going to be shit on that property. I'm sorry. But you're taking a risk because you know that, okay, well, I'm getting a good deal. And then there's something called, I have an investor friend of mine, and he's a legit investor. He calls it the oh shit bank account. And he has a bank account funded just like to hire an attorney, pay for a lien that didn't come up, like all those things. So this person here that bought in 2013 in the foreclosure auction doesn't understand. I bought it from El Condado. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Right.
Right?
From
That's
the
your
government.
But she doesn't understand.
She's set on the fact that like she got this from the government. I'm like, wait.
Foreclosure purchases are messy.
Very messy. Mm-hmm. What I did tell her because of that case, right? Albert number 1 case, diseased Albert, is, mi amor, these people don't know any of this, right? Like I've kind of started asking questions. I was able to answer the brother because he used to be an attorney. I asked the brother a few questions. I'm telling you, he might be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs by now, a few marbles or not, or se está haciendo bowl, right? But he sounds really old. He sounds quite frail. So I don't just think that he's trying to play like dumb with me. And ultimately he disclosed the most important part of this, which is like, I thought I was going to be PR. He was my brother, and the wife didn't know shit, right? And so, like, I knew the property was supposed to go to La Claudia. That's what my brother would have wanted. So I just did it in anticipation.
So where does it stand right now?
And
so this person can't sell her house.
This person will not talk to me because I'm clearly a liar and like whatever. But what I told you is we should really call these, because wife is dead. Albert been dead, right? These kids are alive, according to our $250 fucking skip trace. No te creas que I spent too much money on this. Pero these kids are alive. And I'm like, bro, if we call these kids, it's Christmas in April or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? We will be able to negotiate some shit with these kids. Unraveling all this shit show, believe me, will take 2 years to explain this to a judge. They're not interested.
So you settle this. What does this look like, though?
I would actually say...
Like a deed? Like what does the deed look like at this point?
No. I would probably reopen Albert's estate here, claw this back in, and do basically the equivalent of a quiet title.
Okay.
Like, like we would sell the property and distribute it mitad por aquí, mitad por aquí. When I said this to this woman, it was like I had killed her first child.
I know.
Like, la mitad. And I'm like, mi amor, you bought it for less than 100 G's. You're going to get 500. Like, did you build a swimming pool? And in addition, we can negotiate for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. These kids
don't know that they didn't even know this existed. They're going to be super happy that they're going to get something.
Right.
Maybe they're not happy that their dad was puta sucia. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
Okay, we're beyond that, guys. This is like drama from 1985. Like, we're not doing this right now. No. Believe me, we're going to be able to negotiate something favorable, and you can sell your property, get your money, and whatever. Mija, I was blocked. Like, the realtor, she won't answer the realtor's call.
So what has happened to me in real cases, and maybe this is happening, is I have lost deals, and actually, not only have I lost deals, but I've actually, the transaction doesn't move forward because they do need someone like you, the sellers, and I have to be like, no, you have to hire them.
Yes.
You have to pay.
Yes, this is not pro bono.
You pay the attorney, and it's gonna be at least a couple $1,000s. For you to then be able to sell your property for hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s. And people are stubborn and will not pay that. So they'll just like stay with the property and they'll just keep going to other realtors and other real estate lawyers and like try to like get away with it. And that's what happens. It happened with like a Haitian family that I
oh no, this woman's gonna like squat on this property, maybe sell it for cash in the future or something.
Así like, hay problemas. Bueno, hay problemas con la propiedad, pero yo lo compré del condado. So it's legit. It's legit.
I was like, right, but that's adorable.
But you see, then I do educational videos on that. It's like the real estate agent. They are a professional. You are a licensed professional, and when you're having the interview, because it's not. The homeowner doesn't come to you first or me first. They go to their real estate agent because they want to list the property and get money. So the real estate agent is the licensed professional who they're not the lawyer, but ask freaking questions. Like, did someone die? How did you get the property? Look at the who's on title on the property appraiser's website. Don't analyze a deed, but maybe pull up the last deed and ask some questions. That's how you avoid these shit shows.
But I kind of love the. Has anybody died in this recently?
Has anyone died?
Were they diseased?
Yes. I ask ugly questions. I was like, did anyone die? And who's a foreigner? Like, that's another thing that I always ask.
100%.
Especially here. And they're like, no, porque I did an LLC. Oh my God, that's another thing.
That's adorable.
That's cute.
That's cute.
I mean, if you have a pulse, you go on Sundays.
My realtor did an LLC is even better. I'm like, that's
great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
That happens all the time.
That's fantastic. I'm glad the realtor is now like corporate attorney.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. But the fun never ends, and we will diagram this
because of this.
That's
why you have a job.
Oh man, I mean, this is a little nuts, and I do understand. The client is very, because she did pay something. Over here, I feel like everybody was more reasonable because nobody paid anything. They inherited from like La Tia, right? So it was just kind of like, okay, fine. Somebody is potentially partial rightful owner. Fuck it, let's all sell, right? And that's why that one was able to be, because everybody kind of consented when I opened the probate, when we reopened the probate for Albert and what have you. Here, nobody seemed to, we never contacted these people. I am sure brother, if he's not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, called up, the kids and said, oh yeah, there might be some property or something. Or maybe he shut the fuck up because he realized la jodió, la cagó, right? Yes. And maybe if he's smart, he just, I don't know. Because I was half expecting when I told this client, before I called brother, I told this client, do you want me to call brother? Because we might be opening Pandora's box. And back then,
always a risk.
She kind of she kind of interpreted, maybe I didn't explain it properly to her, that like maybe brother signing some shit could like fix her problem. Because she was like, yeah. Llama ese tipo, because his fucking name is at the top of the shit and he's the PR deed, right? Like, so I'm like, this guy did a PR deed when there was no PR. Like, right?
Like,
so when I call
like the realtors who do the estate
and I'm noticing el mismo apellido, right? Which in Miami is, what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? But I was like, so when I talked to him and I realized it's brother, I was like, oh, okay. But then in my mind, I'm telling her after, I'm like, you think brother's not going to call these kids to be like, well, yeah, you might have a claim on the property. I don't know, because it's his fuck up to begin with, right? So I'm like, you may already have a problem, babe, because you already authorized me to do this. And now brother could very well call up his nephews, his nieces and nephews.
Absolutely.
And be like, oh, yeah. Let's go quiet title this shit. I got you a property. Or brothers, as of right now, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, right? But brother could like, oh yeah, I fucked this up before in 1980 whatever. So let me continue shutting the fuck up because this was Claudia's property and I have nothing to do with it.
And in the meantime, poor real estate lawyer is not getting paid.
No, poor real estate lawyer was called un ladrón.
Yes.
Poor George was just like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't understand anything. The realtor was the one that like,
I'm sure she's been blocked too. Everybody that knows anything, right? This person's in total denial.
Yeah. And they're going to keep fishing for, like, whatever realtor, real estate attorney.
She's probably looking for a cash buyer. Because what I told her was, like, mi amor, the only way for you to get your $1 million is a cash buyer. Find a foreigner. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That's right. Oh, so is this one of the homestead properties?
This is, yes, this is in Homestead. This is in Homestead.
Okay.
Although foreigners don't want Homestead property.
No, they don't. They don't.
They're not interested.
That's why I was like, no.
They're not interested. They're going to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, they're absolutely
So then, let's circle back. What happened with Lisa Marie and
so no. Apparently, this lady's been arrested.
She's sentenced.
The only lady that they've been actually, and you know more updated information than me, she was actually at least arrested by the last thing that I saw and tied back to the forgery scheme of the Nigerian.
Okay.
Like all of, there's like a forgery, I don't know, like cohort, like
so the
a group of people.
The deed was found to be invalid.
So I'm sure all of that now will be
the
cleaned
foreclosure's
up,
out.
You would think, I joke, I did a presentation the other day to ARAC, like the attorneys, real estate counsel, no sé qué, whatever. And I did it as a game show, right? And so one of my first questions was like, Joe died on 1/1/2026. Somehow Joe executed a deed on 2/2/2026, is to Maria, who owns the property. And like my A, right, because it was like a game show, like the first option was, this is no problem. Dead people sign deeds in Miami all the time, right? Like B was, this is no problem because el primo is the witness, la otra is another, and then el santero is the notary. Like, right? I was just like, because this is so Miami. Like, it does not, I said this in the meeting, a quarter, 3 months, a quarter, my years are kind of in quarters, a quarter does not pass by that we are not confronted with a deed that clearly could not have been signed by the person because they were fucking dead.
Someone is dying tomorrow that someone yesterday did a ChatGPT will,
like
and in a year it's gonna come. Watch, it's coming.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. So I feel like I'm very like unapologetic about the way we charge and whatever. And at the end of the day, I say, look, this is what's best for the client. If I'm not getting paid shit to do shit for you, I don't want to do it for you, and I don't want to deal with you. And it's not even me anymore. Maybe it's a little easier. I totally recognize that maybe 4 years ago when I was still the one dealing with the clients and you're hearing their sob story and you feel bad for them, like it's a little different when you step back and it's just like I yell at my associates like, why the fuck are you on the phone with this client? They haven't paid us. You know what I mean? Like stop answering their call. Like, but it is like,
it's so funny. I'll send an email and I sound like the military. I'll be like, this is the last question we answer, and after that, you don't pick up until they pay. And like those are the type of like emails and stuff and notes on Slack that I send my staff. I'm like, last question, and like hard, because my staff also does follow up.
Sure.
Like if they haven't hired us, I have them in charge of following up and trying to grab the client. But then that client thinks it's like, oh, well, let me also ask her 1,000 questions. And I'm like, oh.
Let me ask your staff 1,000 questions. They could come ask you.
Right, that's what happens. Right? So even unapologetic. Worse. I like that.
Yeah, no, I've become very, but it's hard. It's hard initially. Yeah. It is. Well, I mean, you and I could talk forever. I know. Any last words, Ortiz, of wisdom?
Can my real estate agents who have dead people as their clients, please call Leslie or Leslie's office? I mean, see, it's not my fault.
It's not her fault, guys. I swear, it's not her fault. It's not. All of you real estate attorneys, I feel like you get such a because
we don't get paid either,
mad, right?
So we're not getting paid while we're sorting all this stuff out for you guys. We only get paid when we close. So it's not nice for me to discover there's an issue and have to explain it for hours, knowing I'm not going to get paid. It sucks.
No, and for the record,
so I
hire Leslie. Do this if Ortiz or someone else that I'm really good friends with calls and goes, Leslie, I have this issue. If a potential client, if a PNC calls and has this issue, you're going to pay a lot of money for what we call an investigation, which is a minimum retainer, so I can go down my rabbit hole of nonsense, because I quite enjoy this nonsense, by the way. I really
That
do.
is so entertaining.
I really kind of do. I entertain myself with this.
We should hire acters. This is a marketing idea. We're going to hire actors to play these people and act out.
Albert, el hermano.
Yes,
like,
and be very like,
who Claudia. podcast for the record.
Anyway, I loved it. Thank you, Marenco.
No. So, well, I hope you guys had as much fun as we did here on Fun with Death and Taxes. And remember, you should always plan ahead with an attorney, not a notario, not a Hialeah special, to protect yourself, your assets, your family, and so they don't have to go through this. Until next time, you can find all of her information on, if it's this in YouTube, down there, in Facebook, in the Tickety Talk. We will link everything to you, and I'm sure,
Thank you.